some good news for the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray still doesn't have a new contract, but has decided to show up for the ongoing organized team activities. Here's his head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, talking about having Kyler Murray at the 2022 OTAs.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I thought, having him, having Beecham, Pugh, Hollywood, Hump, that's always good. A lot of starters back, and so I thought the work was good, spirited, and it was nice.
Is he giving you indication that he's going to remain out here, or is this a one-off? Do you know yet?
You had to show up next time and see. We're day-to-day around here. But no, it was good to have him, and we've been in constant communication, and so we'll just kind of take it one day at a time.
Is this a double plan for him to be here for this one?
Yeah, I mean, we've just been talking, and so I knew that he'd be here for this one.
Expectation that he'll end up on the practice field if he hasn't already. I would advise being very careful about what he does on the practice field, because the only guarantee he has is through 2023. He doesn't have his long-term, life-changing, generational payday. And if you would suffer some sort of a crazy fluke injury, it goes away and it possibly never comes back. And every time I say that, I think of Dak Prescott suffering the ugly fracture of the ankle during the 2020 season and ultimately getting his major payday.
Right.
But still, was that 2020 or 2021?
That was 2020.
My years are getting twisted up a little bit. But there's still a very real risk. Dak Prescott, it worked out for him, but for some guys it works out and some guys it doesn't. You just don't want to take that chance. You don't want to roll the dice with your career, with your livelihood, with your ability to earn what you have already proven that you deserve. And maybe it's a sign they're working toward getting a deal done. Maybe that's the real takeaway here, that they have heard enough and seen enough that they are close to landing the plane on a new contract for Kyler Murray, that the Cardinals are doing enough, prioritizing it finally, getting past that mantra that we've heard over and over again. Well, we've got other things to do, free agency and draft, free agency and draft, free agency and draft. We heard that last week, and the draft was a freaking month in the rearview mirror. Come on, Steve, update your excuse for not paying Kyler Murray. But maybe something's happened in recent days that has made Kyler Murray more comfortable about the possibility of being there. Either way, look, he wants to win. He wants to be great. Just like we said last week and early this week about Lamar Jackson. If you're committed to being great and you're the quarterback of the team, there's one way to do it right now. It's to be at football practice. I don't care what they call it, OTA or whatever other made-up term. It's football practice, and they're getting ready for the season, even though camp hasn't opened.
Yeah, no, I hear – to me, that's where the reward is worth the risk of what you're talking about there. Again, the practice itself is not overly physical. The quarterback, as we know, is very protected. I do think the Dak Prescott thing you bring up is a real thing when it comes to quarterbacks. I do. Again, I think you'd have a hard time going, wait, Kyler Murray got hurt in OTAs. He can't play. We're going to screw over our franchise guy and not pay him. So, like, maybe a little less risk to what you're talking about, but that's rare. It's still risky. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the quarterback, there's a little different context there. Also, Mike, I think the other thing that comes to my mind here where, hey, it's great, like you just said. I mean, again, Kyler Murray, things are on an upward trajectory. The team is on an upward trajectory. You want to maximize, what you can be as a player. This is a time that helps that. So I love all that stuff. We've talked about that a lot, definitely. And I think the other thing that comes to my mind is I think this is one time where it's good that head coach represented by agent, quarterback represented by same agent. I do think that probably helps the conversation a little bit and helps maybe the head coach, get a little bit of a feeling, even though he's talking to Kyler Murray behind the scenes about what he's really feeling and telling the agent. And, he's going to be extra careful with him. There's a vested interest in him because he's his player, but they have a history back to college and all that. So Cliff Kingsbury's going to take care of him. But I think that relationship does help get Kyler Murray in the building. And, maybe Cliff says things like, hey, we need you out here. Don't worry, I'll take care of you and everything like that. But we need you out here to be a leader and get this team going and some of the new guys and get on the same page, all the things we talk about. I think that could probably be a benefit in this situation.
Hey, Chris, one area where that definitely helped, it put the kibosh quickly on the talk of Cliff Kingsbury being on the hot seat after his latest collapse. That graphic that we have, Cliff can't finish Kingsbury, where they went from 10-2 to limping to the postseason and getting quickly ousted by the Rams. There was that talk about Michael Bidwell being upset, and he's livid, and he's this, and he's that. And once there was a little saber rattling about if you do anything with Cliff, you got a problem with Kyler. Next thing you know, what happens? Cliff's got himself a new contract. So there is definitely some synergy at play here when the quarterback and the head coach are represented by the same agent. And there it is. Can't finish. I'm sorry. It's fact. 9 years of great to pretty good start and free fall the rest of the way. They're trying to turn that around, and they get to have the cameras on the microphones of NFL Films there this year when they do it.
Yeah, great. I know, you're right. Yeah, they're going to have to hopefully they can document, them turning it around as far as that, end of the year kind of issue they have there for sure. I think it just speaks, again, Cliff Kingsbury, I think there's a lot of good things there. I understand Arizona going down and extending his contract, and Kyler Murray. Again, listen, the things are positive. Arizona's on the map here. They just missed the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year they got in. I mean, things are going in the right direction. I don't think you just throw that overboard and just go, well, let's just try something new. Certainly not. I mean, again, Kyler Murray's a special quarterback. He is. So you make that work somehow, some way. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea like we talked about. But I do think, again, Mike, I know you and I have had this conversation a lot in the last 2 years when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals and the Cliff Kingsbury. My biggest thing, and when I just see that graphic there, is great energy. They come out of the blocks and they got a few new wrinkles in their offense, and the base system is pretty good. So, okay, it catches people off guard, but as we've seen almost every year here, when we get to about week 8 or 10, like you always talk about, and teams start to get enough information on what you've been doing week by week, I think Arizona is fairly easy to break down as the season goes on, and it gets a little simple, and teams start to go, I know what they're going to do in this formation or what they're going to do when this personnel sets on the field, and I think that speaks to maybe their biggest issue.
And what a surprise that they're having that issue with a head coach who had his entire coaching career almost exclusively at the college level, where they only played 10, 11, 12 games.
Right.
We didn't have to worry about 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, you just go do your system and you trust your talent to try to carry you as far as you can.
Yes,
so
it is.
That's the challenge, among others, to figure out what this cause is. Remember, Budda Baker recently said they got comfortable down the stretch. That's on the coach. It's on the coach to keep the guys from getting comfortable. Whatever your mechanism is, the Sean Payton, don't eat the cheese, Bill Parcells in guys' faces when things are going well, even more aggressively when things are going not well. But you've got to find a way to maintain the focus when you otherwise are tempted to think, hey, we're pretty good. Yeah, everybody's saying we're pretty good. Social media's saying we're pretty good. Family's saying we're pretty good. Friends are saying we're pretty good. Maybe we are pretty good. The next thing you know, you get punched in the face by Tommy Pham or someone else, as the case may be.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.